everyone.
Ah,
um, just quickly before I talk with Max, real quick to everyone, if this is your first time tuning in, this is like the second episode of this live stream called Byte-Sized AI, where I'm chatting with different people about open source AI and what we have going on. Max made a really cool plugin, an IntelliJ plugin, and some other cool things with open source AI. I'm gonna say hi to Oleg. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Um, but one thing I wanted to ask Max before, feel free to come off mute, before we dive into anything about AI, well, not anything about AI, but about your particular project, I wanted to ask you, what's like maybe the most unconventional use case you've used AI for off the top?
oh, that's an interesting one. The most unconventional. It's really hard to think of AI as unconventional because, like, people do it for everything.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess generate memes.
Yeah.
I've added some stuff to our company Slack to generate memes and pictures on a request. I'd say that's the most unconventional.
That's
Although
true.
I use AI for almost anything, like writing letters and complaints, or actually probably one more, maybe it's more conventional than I think so, but a really great one is if you want to, like, return an item
Mhm.
and to Amazon, you want to write a good description of an issue or whatever, AI does that great. You just give it like, yeah, something's broken, and
Interesting.
it works.
I never thought of using it for that, but I could think of another way for you. You generated your background. You told me
Yeah.
with AI. I don't know if I ever use it for anything super unconventional. Maybe just like DevRel task, like sometimes for like I used it for like some Hacktoberfest issues because I had a lot and they were kind of repetitive. So I was like, just do the same thing, but for this framework or whatever.
I
Um,
mean, for the last year, I've been using AI for everything. Uh,
wow,
tell bedtime stories to my children. Yep,
no
because
way.
I was too tired to keep generate, like, do you want specific stuff, and I have to like come up with ideas. It's really great at that. I'm just turning on ChatGPT, and when advanced mode came in, I just turn on the advanced mode, and they just ask it for stories, and it goes.
Wait a minute. Okay, this is a good tip for me when I get my kid in a few months.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
for chat GPT, like tell us a story.
Yeah, and they can craft specifically what your child wants. Like, things which no book would ever be about. Mhm.
I didn't know that kids were like specifically asking for stuff.
Kids can ask for a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, so now to dive into your background, I guess. So right now you work at a fintech.
Yeah.
We both work at a fintech, but I'm curious, like, what drew your attention to like AI and like open source and Goose? Because that doesn't seem very like aligned with fintech.
Yeah. So fintech is just like, uh, a phase. I guess it's not the thing that excites me in fintech. I was excited about the company, like, the mission of Square, the people. I didn't care if it's fintech or if we would be doing, front end or websites, as long as the company is good and the mission has something good at it. This is what interests me because I've been in different kinds of companies. I've been working in network security. I've been working at Amazon retail. I've been working in med science, like with in Philips Healthcare. I've been working in different, like, fields of IT and software. So I'm not particularly bound to a specific field. I'm just curious and doing interesting work which does something good to the world, and that's about it. And AI is the new hot thing, and I'm very curious in how it works. And, like, I'm excited to try it and use it. And when I got the opportunity to actually contribute to it, I thought, why not? That's like that's interesting. I can learn more, I can use more, and I can do something useful.
I like that. I think that's a good way to think as a technologist. Like I want to try out different things and let's see how this can help the world. Okay, I also asked a little bit about open source. I think I'm going to change the question a little bit. This is a spicy topic. I don't know how deep you are into the open source community, but there's a lot of people in the open source community that are like AI can never truly be open source. Do you agree with the statement or do you disagree with the statement?
Okay, so first of all, I'm just dipping my toes into open source. So it's like, yeah, I'm not that deep into it. However, it's a good question. I feel like I mostly agree that it's never going to be fully open source because tooling around, yes, obviously. Some open source models, probably. Hardware is never going to be open source. I mean, maybe not never, never say never, but in the next couple of years, it's still going to be big companies running those data servers because you can't have that power right now unless we have some magical fusion battery and you can run that on your laptop. I doubt it. So it is going to be controlled in some way, like, owned by some company. Some terms of services will have you running it in our data center, so we own part of it or whatever, whatever, whatever. So I am almost sure that it's never going to be fully open source, but it can get as close as possible to it.
I think that's a fair like evaluation, especially like you said, hardware is really a lot of this stuff is like resource intensive. If you don't
Yeah.
have resources to have this all like the infrastructure set up, like it is what it is. There's not much we can do yet. Okay. So another thing I want to talk to you about, right? Oh, if for people tuning in, actually, they may not know what Goose is. I only did one other live stream on it. How will you describe Goose?
So Goose is essentially, I'd say, your little helper. People like, the idea of name of Goose came from um, Top Gun reference, as Goose was a co-pilot to Maverick, and that was where it started. At this point, it has all kinds of references: actual geese, no name Goose Game, like all kinds of different references because why not? But it started with that. So the idea of it's being your co-pilot, like GitHub Copilot, but actually useful because I don't want to like put shade on GitHub Copilot, but it's a bit limited. And this is essentially what prompted people at Block to build Goose because
Yeah.
we got Copilot and we're like, we want more. It can do
Mhm.
more. It is clearly limited for no good reason. The
Yeah.
AI can. So we're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And Goose is basically more unbound. I'd say some people can say it's a bit unhinged, but we're trying to hinge it a bit back. But yeah.
I agree with that. Angie said she loves a good name. So yeah, I think the Goose name is a really cool name that y'all gave it. Okay, for the co-pilot thing, okay, I used to work at GitHub and I spent like 2-3 years on Copilot. So I feel a slight offense, but I get you. I do think that okay, what everybody had expected when Copilot first came out was like that Copilot would just like code everything for them. And I kind of had to like level set expectations and be like, no, you have to like prompt it to do like step one, step two. Whereas Goose, you just tell it you want to do something and it's just going. Kind of like you
Yeah.
unhinged, but like it's moving.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit more independent.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's not fully independent.
yeah,
It's still running on the same core models, but it's better at it because it has ability to iterate and do stuff and test and run. And we're adding abilities all the time.
yeah. And I think I will call it like semi-autonomous, right? Tanya said unhinged makes me want to use it though. It's kind of fun to see what it'll create. I think that's like the fun part of AI. My other thing too, right? So we talk about at least the way that it's described, Goose, on the documentation, it's described as like an agent,
Yeah.
right? And like I think we both just now mentioned that it's like autonomous or semi-autonomous. I'm curious, right? Like every time I look up a definition of like a agent or autonomous agent, there's like all these different definitions. Like some people think it's a flow or like multiple LLMs or like something that just doesn't need human intervention. Like what, even though there's no standard definition, like what does autonomous agent mean to you?
That's a good question. So to me, autonomous agent is some form of software, not specifically AI, that can execute actions on your behalf from a simple request to a more complex action. So like you don't have to hold its hand all the like every step of the way. Like you don't have to go open that, click that, go there. You're like, okay, I need to log in into GitHub. Just go do, right? And like it can extrapolate what actions need to be taken, and it can actually take those actions. So this, for instance, ChatGPT right now is not an agent because it can't extrapolate all those actions. It can tell you, go there, click that, write that, but it can't actually do it. On the other hand, Goose is the same thing, but it can actually do things. It has access to tools to do that. That's an agent to me, but it doesn't have to be like, running on your machine. Agents can be built into maybe a website and they can do stuff on that website specifically. It's still an agent because like, oh, how do I don't know, you go to, I don't know, Costco.com and you ask an agent to fill your basket. And there's an agent running on Costco.com that can only interact with Costco, but it's still an agent, albeit limited.
I think that's a good description. And I think that's one of the things that was like exciting about Ghost. Like I was like, let me try out the screenshot thing. And I was like, take a screenshot of my computer. And it did it. I was like, what? It could do it. This is crazy. But what has Goose just enabled for you as a developer, a day-to-day developer?
Okay, so it's a two-part answer. First one, it enabled me to get into my creativity because I'm playing around with it. I can try to build projects in languages or like frameworks I haven't tried ever, and it would take me months to onboard to even try to build something. But I can just try to build and then learn while I'm building because I don't need to do months of research before I can start building. So it helps me build stuff I never tried to. And the second thing, it kind of enables a bit of my flaws, which is laziness, because it can do a lot of stuff for me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna ask Goose. So like oh, your network has been slightly laggy, but it's fine. Uh, you know, uh,
Am I
for
back?
instance, yeah, you're back. You're fully back. For instance, one example is I had a pull request and there were comments for minor changes, like formatting stuff and things I like missed a comment or whatever, like basic stuff, but a lot of them. Well, it happens. So I just gave Goose the PR and said to fix them, and it did, and I didn't have to bother. So like it enables my laziness a bit.
I would say that makes sense. I will agree with that. I feel like it's kind of I would like to rephrase it as like you get to work on the stuff you actually want to work on, and you can
Yeah,
ignore the
yeah.
stuff. But I like that. And then my other question for you, or I want to dive into some of the demos. Right, we came here to like show off some of the projects you've been working on. I seen like you're always in Slack talking about Goose, like Goose, Goose, Goose. I thought you were on the Goose team, but then I'm like, wait, you're not on the Goose team. You just really like building with Goose. Um,
Yeah, my manager's not happy.
Andrew said, wait, Max, tell us more. What were your exact words? I don't
uh,
know.
I'm not sure if it's related to like the commits or PRs. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I need more. I need more context.
Angie, tell us more. We moved on, so we forgot. Oh, about the
Uh,
PR. She's
oh
saying.
yeah. So basically, Goose has some additional toolkits. I don't know if how much you've talked about toolkits, but there's additional tools you can add to it. And internally at Block, we have a toolkit which allows access to our internal GitHub. So
Mm.
it can use a GitHub API and CLI to go and check out our internal GitHub repositories. So I was able to just send it a link to the pull request and said, go fix comments. And that's literally all that I had to do. It was like, okay, it pulled the request, saw the comments, and it fixed the places where it was commented. And it's actually quite easy for those because GitHub comments are structured. They specifically show you the file, the location, and what it is where you get the comment. So it doesn't have to go and look for that code. It's like, no, it's okay, in this file, in this line, they want this. Go and do. So it's actually very structured for Goose. The format the API returns for GitHub is very structured. So Goose as a software sees it easier than a human. It's much easier for it to navigate.
Interesting. I'm about to use that. Next time I get a lot of comments on a PR, I'm about to just see what Goose can fix. And also, hey to Ace, thanks for tuning in. All right, so This thing I wanted to the thing I wanted to talk about was your projects. You're doing a lot of stuff. You said your manager's not happy, but it's okay. He will be hopefully he'll be grateful in the end. If
No, I
you
thought it was a joke. Obviously,
oh
they understand me, but me, like I spend a lot of time on this right now. A lot.
okay. For some reason, can you see your screen? I cannot see
Yes,
it. I think it's
absolutely. I
network.
can see it. Can chat confirm if they can see it?
Okay. If not, let me just remove this and add this. I don't know why. Like I've been having so much network issues whenever it's time to stream. Let me see. Nobody can see it. Okay. I'm going to this is really weird, but I'm going to leave for like 5 seconds and then I'll come back. Like I'm going to refresh my my computer just in sorry y'all to put this awkward moment in. Give me a second. I've returned.
Okay,
Hopefully
let me start resharing again that screen and share.
in the
Tell
meantime
me.
Ace is giving oh there it is. I see it. Cool.
There
Ace
we go.
giving some jokes. He's I hope everyone is having a goose day. Dad jokes. Okay. Oh, interesting. Tanya said next time I can disable audio. Interesting. Okay. Thanks for telling me that. I didn't know that. All right. Yeah. What's the first thing you're going to show us? IntelliJ.
So the
Go ahead.
Yeah, IntelliJ plugin is my like main contribution to Goose. I'd say I do dabble here and there, like adding fixes and playing with toolkits. But this one is something that I built for myself because I primarily work with IntelliJ or any other JetBrains IDE. And also, there's a lot of demand inside of Block for it because a lot of people work with JetBrains IDEs. So I was like, okay, I don't want to have Goose separately. It's weird. It's better to have it inside the IDE, like Copilot, and add and do things. I mean, it's still not as flushed out because I'm the only person doing this right now for the IntelliJ, but it's coming along. So first of all, you're probably gonna notice this Goose here on the right, and this is where the terminal will pop in if you have
That you made.
plugin installed. Yeah, by the way, one thing to note, it is on Marketplace. So you don't need to like go and do weird stuff. You can just go to the IntelliJ settings and go to plugins and just search on the Marketplace. You can do Goose and it's going to be there. So it is published. You don't need to do any shenanigans, like, downloading stuff. It's literally on the Marketplace. So yeah, this is Goose on the side, and basically this is essentially a regular Goose terminal, as in before in the CMD, but it is located within your IDE, so you don't have to switch tabs or whatnot, and it starts with your IDE. However, it has several additions I found very useful for myself. First of all, it saves session and profile information into your IntelliJ IDEA project within these files so that next time you run that project, it remembers where you were with that specific project. Because I was like, okay, I'm tired of writing which session I want for which project because I have 5 projects open at the same time. So it now writes that information into the project itself and can retrieve it back and say, okay, on this project, I'm going to run that. Essentially, same as with the Goose hints file, which is a helper file. It is adding it to git ignore, so you can have it local. You can push it into your PR, whatever. So this is like the basic stuff. However, it has some tools also. Again, built for myself. I noticed that I didn't like editing the profiles for Goose, which are the configurations. Goose has profiles, which is the set of toolkits you can use or the models or whatever. So I build the UI to edit profiles. So now I can select whatever provider I want, processors, accelerators, and moderators, and add the toolkits. It can also pull the toolkits available to Goose, so you can do this all in UI. It's a bit janky. It has some bugs, but I'm working on it.
No, wait. And let me give people context because a lot of people that are tuned in, they probably haven't used this. the way that, like you just said, like you have like your Goose configurations, the way that it currently is right now is like it's just like this JSON file type of thing, or like
It's a
YAML.
YAML. It's a YAML. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to like edit it, make sure you have the right tabbing, and it's just in your terminal. So this is really cool to have a
Yeah.
UI.
So I added a UI to like, be able to use profiles and remember profiles. And I can just do and add a new profile and say, uh, like new profile, let's say demo, right? And I'm gonna say I want Anthropic. I don't have a key right now, so I'm gonna leave OpenAI, and I can do GPT-4o, and I could say I want a developer toolkit, and I then want a screen toolkit because why not? And maybe when did I install Talk to Me? Okay, it doesn't matter. I installed Talk to Me, so we might test that. Um, and maybe I know GitHub or Jira. GitHub might be broken, so I'm not gonna add that. So there's like multiple toolkits you can use, and then you do save and select, and it will restart the Goose session for you with the new profile, and it will write that profile into the project. So next time you go into that project, it's gonna remember it for you. Again, that's my laziness speaking. I was tired of doing it by hand, so I added it. So now
No,
it's automated.
this is awesome. I love it.
So like basic stuff also sometimes Goose can get stuck or network issues happen. So you have
Mhm.
just a restart shell which just refreshes stuff. I've added some stuff like shortcuts to Goose hints file. In big projects, you don't have to search for it. It's just gonna do it for you. Like basic IntelliJ stuff. And also there's this option which is questionable to some people, but I've been working with Goose a lot, and what happened for me, I've been running out of LLM context a lot. I've
Oh,
been like pushing the limits of what LLMs and APIs can do. So sometimes I just need to clear the session. Because the session is tied to the project, it's always the same session and it grows. And at some point, I just want to clear it and it just removes the old context and you start from scratch. Very helpful feature for myself, and I hope people will find it. However, those are not the main actual things.
wait, why
I
are people finding this controversial? Sorry, I would
uh,
like to like start over but still keep the same name.
People prefer to start new sessions. I
Oh,
don't know. It's like Goose Camps. It's like tabs versus
okay. Just
spaces,
preferences.
literally.
Okay.
So like but interacting until now, interacting with Goose is still the same. You have this terminal where you can talk to it, right? Like, let's see. Let's write as. Oops, sorry. Let's create a simple node project here. And it's gonna start creating blah blah blah. It's gonna start appearing in your IDE. Just let it. Sometimes this is one of the things I noticed, that I need to reload from disk. The IDE takes time to notice the changes, but that's still in the works. But as you can see, it created the packages, and now that's the fun part. I've added some more interaction. So if you right click on the file, you'll see you can have Ask Goose 2. Create a hello world page here. Oh, sorry, a bug. That can happen. I'm
Yeah,
still having bugs.
that's
And as I said, I'm a single developer here, so some bugs can happen. So it couldn't find, the action is broken, but essentially, if you want to do this, it will, like, it's another way to interact with Goose.
yeah.
So for instance, another way I've added, I liked it in Copilot, and I've added it, is whether, let's say here, I am selecting something in my code. Usually in Copilot, you can highlight and ask it to do something, right? So I decided, yeah, I like that too. So if I click Option G, I
It'll
get a Goose,
That's
and
so
I
cool.
can do explain this, please. And again, you see this, it lost connection to Goose somehow.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some, but basically it would send this request to the main chat and
Okay.
it will work on the code. And again, you can work anywhere in the file, and it will know the context of questions where you're working with. It will know what code in which file you have highlighted. And
That's
those are like the main features. I have added like a shortcut to generate tests also, because that's an often request. So
yeah.
it's essentially the same thing, but the prompt is pre-written. So you
Mhm.
don't have to every time tell it to generate tests for this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, generate tests. But yeah, this is like the current version 1.3. I am constantly adding new feature and fixing bugs to whatever is needed, so
Yeah.
so that people could use it more, and some feature for myself. So I'm taking requests on GitHub. I have a repo right here. As you can see, it's Goose IntelliJ, and you can open issues. There's like one open right now, and I'm working on it to fix them and update them and release versions as much as I can. Again, this is not my main work, so it can take a while to get fixed and released. But I always appreciate people forking and working and helping, because IntelliJ plugins, unfortunately, are not simple. They're
Yeah.
not easy to work with. So any help is appreciated.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right.
this is the current state of things.
This is awesome. I think it was pretty cool. Even though like the small little bug, everybody was like, whatever, errors happen. But like the features that you have are really excellent. And like I can really see how it would speed up developer productivity. Do you have any specific issues within your GitHub that you want people to start working on or contribute that would help you out? Or you're like, nothing specific
You
yet?
know, the biggest one is testing it with open source Goose, because I'm mostly working with our internal version, and most of my users, which are about 130 right now, they're all internal in the company. So they are mostly using the internal Goose version, which has all of our SSO and whatever, and it is basically more polished because I'm testing more with it. So these bugs don't happen. And I rarely use the open source Goose. And this is why these bugs happen. I didn't notice this happening. If I use it, I usually use it in my uh, like separate console. But when it's in IDE, it's usually connected to our internal Goose because I'm working on internal projects, right? It makes sense. So
Yeah.
I need, like, more input from people about bugs, issues with open source stuff, because
Awesome.
there's several pathways to work with different versions of Goose.
Okay. So, folks, if you're watching and you're not internal to the company, definitely go ahead, install this plugin and try it out. And then go ahead to like github.com and give Max feedback about what you're experiencing, because right now you use it as an internal tool. So you didn't even know that that error would pop up unless like
I mean, I test. You see, the thing is, I tested it with some version of Goose, but
uh,
they release often a lot. Like
mm,
it's been 6 versions since the last time I tested it with external one. Something changed, and that's the problem with plugin development. You have to keep up with the main tool.
oh, that
It,
makes
it happens with a lot of plugins, like Bazel for us internally breaks a lot because the plugin was not updated, but the actual tool was updated, and it
sense.
clashes.
That makes
So like
sense.
since it's two different deployment schedules, I need to keep up with the changes to the main project. And since I'm doing this alone, sometimes I'm behind, as with this.
Yeah, as it always is in open source maintaining, especially if it's a single developer, it's hard to keep up. I'm curious though, like what made you say I want to make an IntelliJ plugin for Goose?
Essentially, because this is my main IDE. And
Mm,
first of all, IntelliJ is my main IDE. And the second thing is that basically IntelliJ is like, I'd say it's not an IDE, it's more of an ecosystem, right? Every JetBrain IDE can run this plugin. So if you're working on Python, PyCharm. If you're working on Android, Android Studio. If you're working on anything else, they all run this plugin. So it's interchangeable between all of them, and it can help a wider range of people.
oh wow, I didn't even realize that like that this would work with other JetBrains IDEs. That's awesome. And then do you have you had maybe another demo that you wanted to show in addition, or are you like this is it?
I mean, I have a couple experimental things I'm working on. They're still not merged or approved, or like, they're still work in progress. So
Yeah,
they're a bit more raw, but we can play around with them.
yeah. Let's see what.
So let me close the IntelliJ. We don't need it. So another thing I have is something called browser toolkit. As you can see, I'm in a branch right now, which is basically the browser toolkit branch, which is still in work in progress. But what it does is allows Goose to work with a browser. And let's start the session with Goose. And I'm gonna, sorry, it's trying to log me in somewhere where it shouldn't.
Is it
And
doing the Databricks thing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know. It shouldn't use Databricks right now, but I've reported that bug, and it's not gonna. Okay, it's not gonna log in without Databricks. So give me a second. I'll have to log in there because it's not gonna allow me to run. And I've reported that bug to Goose right now, to the main team, which
Okay.
is weird to say because I can fix it probably if I'd have time. So,
If it helps, Angie wrote that you're a natural at live streaming, and you said this was your first live stream, so
yeah.
kudos to you.
Okay, there we go. So this thing is running right now, and let's say I'm lazy and I want to see 5 different stocks. So open me 5 different stocks on Google. And it's gonna initialize a browser. Oops, I think it's, yeah, there it is. So
Oh,
it's opening 5 tabs. It's
what?
looking at them. It's working. So this is simple, but my favorite demo is this. Um, find me a plush goose toy on Amazon. It's gonna open Amazon. It's gonna navigate. It's gonna type. It's gonna
It's
search.
typing? Oh, that's
Yes, it
cool.
is. So it found me Goose toys on
That's
Amazon.
cool.
So, that is just navigating. However, that's not all. I am lazy. I am a lazy developer, and I've been doing a lot of front end work in years, but I am lazy and I'm not doing that anymore. So, what I shall show you is this. Uh, Currently, I am in the same repo, but if I'm going to go to WebTimer folder and going to do Python 3 server Py. Oh, right, I need Python, not Python 3. Right, sorry, just a sec. I need to start the environment.
Okay.
Uh,
I like that
source.
it was experimental, so that's okay.
Yeah, no, the source bin. Okay, the server is running. So now we have a Flask server running here. And what I'm going to say to Goose, uh, go to egg timer website and look at it. I want you to create a copy in WebTimer directory and make it look and work the same.
Oh, this sounds.
There is a running server on port 8001 in that location. So what it's going to do right now, it's going to open the EggTimer website.
Oh,
And let me move this a bit to the side, I guess. And it's going to pull all the information and took a screenshot. So it went to the, I saved the session and the file so it would be able to pull it. It writes some information, it writes some stuff. And if we'll look into the Finder folder, you will see that the index.html is already there and it's editing it. So it will work a bit on it. It will add JavaScript, CSS, it will write the whole thing. And now navigate and test the functionality.
This is
And
really
now this guy is going to open the web timer it wrote, and
okay.
it's going to start testing it.
Oh my god. The only thing
Uh,
is missing is the egg.
test it all. Yeah, I wanted to add the free asset search. I still didn't. And
Oh,
yeah, you see it's typing 1 minute. It's gonna do start. It's gonna play around with it, and it's just a simple web timer.
this
But
is the coolest.
this is basically a demonstration that it not can not only interact with pages, it can actually copy, work, create, and test web apps. It
Wow.
still has some issues with advanced websites,
Yeah.
like which use Ember or React because of how Shadow DOM work. It has a
Mhm.
hard time navigating to elements. As you can see, it iterates. It's changing some code. It's testing. It's typing. It's clicking buttons. So it is working on its own web app, taking screenshots and verifying that it's working. So this one is still work in progress. It's not built. It hopefully will be merged into Goose sometime soon and will be available to all and upgraded. But for now, this is the first version of this. And fun fact, today Anthropic showed something like that. They called it
Oh,
computer use, and I'm a bit proud that I built this like 3 days before Anthropic released it.
right. As an individual developer, they're a whole team.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
excited for this to come out. This is going to make me be able to do some cool demos. Like this is the coolest thing I think I've seen so far from Goose.
Well, we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, if you want more Hinge stuff, I have more experimental things that work. Again, this one's available as a separate plugin you can do, but basically, I need to see which profile. Give me a second. I have a profile which is what's your name? I think it's UI dev. I have so many profiles because of testing. So which one has talked to me? Test dev has talked to me. Okay.
Do profiles have descriptions?
They do not in my UI, but if you do,
Okay.
if you will do in the console, if you will
Then
do
it should.
Goose toolkit list, it will explain you the toolkits you have. Sorry, I think oh yeah, Goose toolkit list. So, and you see, this is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right now, it doesn't find Goose in a different directory. I have
Uh,
no idea why. If I'll go out to a different folder,
then it'll
this
find.
Goose will, yeah, uh, uh, which Goose. Something is really messed up in my local environment, but that's my machine.
All
So
right. You blow like this has been so cool to watch, so don't matter.
let's do UV Goose.
Okay.
Can I do the UV Goose with the talk to me? I don't think so. No. I will need to switch to a different folder. And let's see, Goose. Oh yeah, you see Goose is available here,
That's so weird.
but not available there. So it's kind of weird. My environment is very broken in that way.
That's
So I need um, the test dev. Yes, I need a profile called test dev. So let me do more. Let's do this. Do we have time? I don't know where we at. So let's do Goose session start profile test dev. And again, oh yeah, I'm in the wrong folder. This is annoying. Again, command not found. This is, you know what? What I'm gonna do is just this. I'm
okay.
gonna install it fresh
Okay.
because, oops, not IA, AI. I really, it seems it's installed.
Hmm.
Which Goose? Yeah, as I said, my environment is a bit broken. However, I can fix this simply to showcase the thing.
Oh, I think because you did pipex install Goose IA. Is it be AI?
Oh no,
Fixed
I
it.
didn't change it to AI. Yeah. So if we'll do this, it should find Goose. Yeah, it's my aliases. Something's with my aliases. So I'm just gonna do the actual path of Goose. So I'll do session start, profile, test dev. This is my test profile on which I test my toolkits usually. And this one is edited, but it still says block. Give me a second, please. Again,
Yeah.
uh, work in progress. This is why a lot of my projects are raw because I didn't get them to the fully functional
I think
state.
that's the beauty of live streams. Like you get to see it in progress. Developers really like that for me.
Okay, so I've updated the profile, and now it should not go to block. Okay, quorum, it doesn't exist. Sorry. Why doesn't quorum exist? This isn't, oh, because quorum is a block plugin, right?
Oh.
Yeah, there's some plugins which are specific for our company, which have access to our internal tooling,
Mhm.
which would make sense, but screen developer Git. Let me remove the GitHub too. Select. Okay. Now let's run this test dev for a file. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to show you talk to me
That's okay.
because it broke. But basically, I have built-in voice interaction, and it is available on uh, GitHub here as
Yeah.
Goose Talk to Me. However, it is wonky as you can see. I've updated Goose and now it doesn't work with the new Goose. So
Okay.
some things are broken, some things do work, and yeah, I it can't find this profile for some reason, like this prompt, but it is there as you can see, but for some reason it can't locate it. That is another thing I've been doing. And I have several more testing projects, but they're too raw to
Yeah.
showcase. So I have an IO toolkit, which allows Goose full access to keyboard and mouse, like not only browser, but any application on your laptop. And
Yeah.
and that one is very fun because you can see it doing weird things. It's like opening search bars, opening calculators, and whatever. But unfortunately, I have a hard time locating items on the screen to put the cursor. So it's really broken. It's more of a hotkey thing, but it's very fun just to play around.
This is
So
so
I would say my approach to Goose is very experimental. A
yeah.
lot of people are doing reasonable things, adding developer stuff, access to those are reasonable. People are gonna add them, and this is unreasonable stuff. I want to play around and see the edges where where it can go.
Yeah, and we need people like you because I think it pushes it further to stuff that's exciting. Like I haven't gotten to see like what you demoed with the browsing thing that like excited me. And that's like something I can feel excited to demo to other people to be like, this is not like your other AI tools. So like you have people in the chat already saying like they love this. They were saying like you're killing it. They were saying, okay, Max, this is awesome. So the experimental tooling is really excited. I think even if I know the Goose Talk to Me demo didn't work, but if people are curious and want to try it out or even just start the project, fork the project, help to debug it or whatever, here's the link to the repo. I don't know how to say your username, like Kvitron, whatever.
No, it's actually Kvadratny. It's from
Oh,
Russian.
oh, it's Russian.
It's it's literally my old nick from playing Counter Strike as a teen, and I've had it
Oh,
for I don't know 20 years now.
oh
And
yeah,
I decided to just keep it because it's very unique in a way that it's empty on most platforms.
yeah.
So I don't have to struggle with numbers like max blah 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 759. No, it's free. It's up for grabs on most platforms.
Yes, I love that. Okay, cool. And then yeah, people could go to that repo, check it out. I think it's also helpful to be able to talk to like to have that audio option for people, because some people may not have like physical dexterity, or they might have visual impairments, and but they might want to like code or use their terminal or whatever, and they could be like, okay, run this for me, and then Goose does it talk back, or you just
Yes, it does. It
oh,
does. So I was planning to just try to fix it right now and
oh,
run an UV if we have time.
okay,
We might be able to run it.
okay,
It's just it needs a pool and an additional build, but I think I can handle that right now. And we
oh,
have like what,
15.
15 minutes? Oh yeah, I could do that.
let's
So
let's give you,
we can see this stuff live, I guess.
yeah,
So let me put the window here, and I will close Goose here because it's unreadable with Goose right now. This is too big. Okay, so I actually just need a console. I need to do UV add editable, and then oops. What I need is not the Goose plugins block, but Goose talk to me, and it should add it as a dependency to my build version of Goose, and it should just work. It will take some time because it right now talk to me works with local audio and local um,
uh,
basically local audio and frameworks and local text to speech because I didn't want to rely on APIs when I built it. So
okay,
it has to pull all of these uh, speech frameworks, models that actually convert, and it actually uses OpenAI Whisper locally. It pulls a Whisper model, which is the one they use in ChatGPT,
yeah,
a slightly older version, but it's local.
okay,
And when I was building it, real time voice was not available still.
uh,
Now I am planning to have a separate version, or maybe just a new version, which uses real time voice with OpenAI. I haven't gotten into it because it is really expensive. It
mm,
is so expensive. I am like, I'm feeling morally um, ambiguous about running tests with it because it's like $5 for a million tokens.
oh,
It's gonna be like $1,000 a month if I'm gonna test on it. So
yeah.
like, it is very expensive these days. Okay, there it is, pooling, building. Finally, we're done. So if we'll do UV run Goose session start profile test dev. Again, it should work. It might not. We'll see. And it's thinking. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Startup can also take some time here because, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my computer audio is actually going
Oh,
through,
that's true. Will we hear
but
it?
well, I don't know. Let's see. So talk to me. And you see it asks me for microphone access.
Okay.
So what time is it now? And what date is going to be in 7 days? You can see it transcribed. So what time is it now and whether it's going to be in 7 days? There.
Understood you. I'm in suspense.
Did you hear its answer?
No, I think I heard like a little noise in the background, but I didn't hear it answer.
I wonder if I can change my speakers. So I think you would hear the speakers out loud and my mic would pick it up. So let me change my speakers to my loudspeakers.
Even in
Let's
your
do
au-
MacBook speakers. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. And I was gonna say, like in your audio section of StreamYard, they might like you
Now
could
do
change
you
your mic
hear
and
it?
your speaker.
How about now?
Okay. I can hear. What am I saying? What are you saying? Can we hear Goose or you?
Unfortunately, I think my headphones don't allow this, but if I turn my headphones off, it
Yeah.
will.
And you can change the speaker and the mic.
Oh yeah, I just did, but it's just blank.
Oh, you
Let's
didn't.
see.
Oh, I hear something a little bit. Oh, you mute yourself. I didn't hear it. Tanya said you can also possibly share the application, not the entire screen.
How about now?
Okay, maybe.
No? Mm-mm.
No, it's like I hear like a little crackly noise in the back, which I'm assuming is Goose, but I can't hear it. But I think this is cool. Like we saw it transcribed. This is dope.
Unfortunately, yeah, I can't do that, but it speaks back.
Yeah.
I
I'm
want.
gonna try.
I wonder if there's a way. I don't know why my speakers don't work, like on my Mac at all. You know what? Let me do this. I'll reconnect to the call, and we'll see if that happens.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn my headphones off and reconnect.
Okay. What if you even joined by your phone and let us? I don't know. Okay. I was gonna say you can join on his phone and his computer, and then we can hear it. I think it's StreamYard and not him. He's back.
Okay, we're back. And I
Okay.
can hear you, and you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So let's try to hear Goose again. Let me share my screen.
Fingers crossed.
Goose. Okay. Let's talk again. What are we gonna ask?
Oh, that's a good question. What about somebody from the chat? What y'all want to ask? Anything in particular? If not, I can. Oh,
You know what? You know what? I have an idea, and this is gonna be very fun. I just need a second to do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna update my profile to also include browser.
somebody said, "Ask when is the AI uprising going to start?"
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see your thing too. That's funny.
Okay. Let me add browser right now. You know what? I'm not gonna. It's my break it. But yeah, let me start with the AI uprising thingy.
Okay.
So talk to me. What's happening? Okay, I need to restart it. Sometimes audio breaks, and it couldn't start mic. And
Sure, I'm here to assist you with any tasks you have. Just let me know what you need.
I
So-
hear it.
when is the AI uprising happening? And it decided not to talk back. You see, this is still wonky, but it can talk.
But we heard it the first time. That was cool.
Yeah, it uses local stuff right now, so it doesn't sound as lifelike as
Yeah.
but
That was cool.
it is just having fun with it. It has zero practical use in this format because it's not polished, right? So it has issues with pronunciation, and it has issues with understanding, and so people with with impairments might have problems using it right now because it's not polished enough. But this is a step towards people want Jarvis from Iron Man to talk and do stuff, and we're getting there. So here you go. I'm gonna try something that I haven't tried. I just married talk to me and browser. So
Ooh, let's see.
hey, can you please open Amazon and find an AI plush toy there? Okay, we got CAPTCHA, and that's the thing I learned yesterday. It will not solve CAPTCHAs for you.
I was just gonna ask.
It says you will need to add it manually. And look at this. What is the answer?
Oh,
Wait. It knows the answer, but it
but it
will
can't type it in.
refuse to type it in because of ethical considerations. I said that
Oh.
yesterday. So yeah, robot uprising is indefinitely delayed. They're too ethical to do that.
This
So
is
yeah,
so
we can see
cool.
the talk, and let's do something fun again. Can you verbally explain to me how AI works? It's gonna take some time to generate.
Sure, AI, or artificial intelligence, refers to the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. These processes include learning, the acquisition of information and rules for using the information, reasoning, using rules to reach approximate or definite conclusions, and self-correction. AI can be classified into weak AI, which is designed for a narrow task like voice assistance, and strong AI, which could perform any cognitive task that a human can do. Machine learning and deep learning are subsets of AI that use algorithms to analyze data, learn from it, and make decisions. Machine learning, for example, involves feeding data into algorithms to create models that can make predictions or identify patterns. Deep learning uses neural networks with many layers, hence deep, to process complex datasets like images and speech. Overall, AI aims to create systems that can function intelligently and
It's
independently.
gonna take a while, but yeah.
That was so cool. I can't believe you built that.
Yeah, I can't believe I built that too. It took me a while, and it actually took some badgering of OpenAI teams to release some bug fixes. I had to badger OpenAI because they had bugs in Whisper. And
Oh.
it surprisingly worked. You can badger people from big companies, and they will answer you.
Yep, that's true. Especially if like they have any. Well, I guess OpenAI doesn't have any open source anymore. Someone said fast and loud, but
You
that's
can
because you
still
told
access
us it
Whisper
was
and
using.
Swarm.
Huh?
You can still access Whisper, and they have Swarm. They still have some
Some
open.
open source thing? Oh,
Much.
word. Cool. This was so exciting to watch. I think I would love to have you back on in the future to just keep talking about any other experiments you're doing. You're about to be like my best friend when it comes to demos because I like to do like fun demos, like something exciting, not just like, oh, it could code. Like I want to show stuff like this. So it's cool that you're like going outside of the bounds just to like maybe wrap up some of the stuff. Like I only have two questions. Why do you think it's important for us to have Goose, or why do you
Agent.
think it's important for Goose to be open source for you? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, the main reason things like that should be open source because once they grow to their full potential, like this is infancy, right? Most of the tools I show you, I built alone on top of Goose, which is yes, is a team of people. That's not many. There's like maybe 15 people tops working on it, less. And this is the look like where we are. So imagine now a huge company like Microsoft having a team of, I don't know, 1,000 people working on something like that, right? This will like increase the gap between abilities of people by huge margins. So this should be available to all to build and play and express themselves. Otherwise, well, we're gonna move to dystopian society. So, like we have two ways right now with AI. I believe strongly we're gonna go either full utopia or full dystopia. So if we don't go open source, that's only one way.
I agree with you. I think so. Because right now, I think big tech companies kind of have the monopoly, but like bringing these tools to different communities or open sourcing it allows like global innovation, community innovation, people thinking about how will this affect society and stuff like that. So this is really awesome. And then my last question for you is like, what do you hope for the future of Goose? Like it's a big question, but like since you're excited about Goose, I feel like maybe you've thought about it.
So my hope for the future of Goose is far-fetched, but I want it to be able to run on every system. It is like cross-platform right now, but I don't think anybody tested it on Windows, so probably has a bunch of bugs on Windows. Linux, Mac is better, but Windows probably not. And since it is built into Goose, I like it providing like access to any AI you want. Right now, it has providers, so you can choose Anthropic, you can choose OpenAI, or even run a local Olama model if you want to. So, it allows you, it democratizes your choice. You don't have to be subscribed to a specific company. You can always switch, but it's the same set of tools on top. And I want it to be more far-reaching. So, I want to have more capabilities. I want it to be able to fully see my screen live, not like screenshots, but the whole thing. I want it to be able to click and navigate the apps on my laptop. I want it to be able to create accounts for me and go, I don't know, fill in an order. Go, maybe in the future we'll add proper voice and it could call using some caller service, like, an actual assistant that can do everything.
Oh, my camera went off. Dang it. That's so cool. That would be that's my cue to leave then soon, since my camera just shut off. Let me see if I can turn it back on. There we go. But really quickly, like I like your vision of everything you want for Goose. I'm excited for that. And for folks, if you want to try out Goose itself, like we've seen the plugin, we've seen the other experiments that are going on. But if you want to try it out, give feedback, let us know if it's working on Windows for you or not. You can go to this repository right here and try it out. As you can see, Goose is pretty cool. This is like the future. I think that's all I have. I don't know if you had any last minute things, Max, but
no, I think we're good. I mean, I'm still working on a lot of crazy ideas, like, a crazy scientist in the basement. I am actually in the basement, so we'll see what the future holds.
nice. Yeah. And thank you so much for taking your time to be on this live stream and share with us everything that you've been creating. It's really exciting. And thanks for everybody that tuned in too. Good engagement. Thank you. And hopefully I don't have a consistent stream schedule for this yet, but hopefully I'll be back sometime soon, maybe next week, to see what other cool things we can make with Goose. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.